The heart of Canada's winter arrived in full force this week as a powerful snowstorm swept across the province of Ontario, leaving communities paralyzed under deep snow and biting cold. Beginning in the early hours of January 14th and continuing through January 16th, a persistent winter weather system dumped massive amounts of snow on major urban centers, including Toronto, Mississauga, Hamilton, and the surrounding Greater Toronto area. This storm marked one of the most disruptive snow events of the 2025-2026 season so far, affecting over 10 million residents. For days, neighborhoods were blanketed in thick white powder, visibility was sharply reduced, and wind chills made even short trips outdoors a painful challenge. What began as scattered flurries evolved into a major weather emergency, highlighting just how powerful and unpredictable Canadian winters can be. By the evening of January 15th, snowfall totals had reached between 20 and 40 centimeters across much of southern Ontario, with some rural and northern suburbs reporting even higher localized accumulations due to lake effect snow. The storm system brought a steady barrage of snowbands that refused to let up, turning sidewalks into snowbanks and burying parked cars under thick layers of frozen precipitation. In Toronto alone, crews had to work around the clock just to maintain access on major arteries and emergency routes. By January 16th, even after the storm's peak had passed, light snow continued to fall intermittently, adding another 3 to 6 centimeters of accumulation in some areas. The streets of Toronto, already overwhelmed, remained partially snow-covered despite plowing, and residential roads were difficult to access. For many residents, just leaving their driveways required hours of shoveling and effort. The storm transformed the entire landscape into a frozen white maze.
Nothing to know about it, we gotta go another day.
Alongside the heavy snow came an unrelenting cold snap. On January 16th, daytime temperatures in Toronto hovered between -6 and -3 degrees Celsius, or around 21 to 27 degrees Fahrenheit. But it was the wind chill that made conditions especially brutal. Gusty northern winds pushed the feels-like temperature down to nearly -15 degrees Celsius, just 5 degrees Fahrenheit. These conditions posed serious risks for anyone exposed to the elements for extended periods. Residents bundled up in multiple layers, scarves, and thermal gear, yet still reported stinging skin and numb fingers after just minutes outside. Schools remained open, but warned of reduced recess times and issued cold weather advisories to parents. Hospitals and clinics across the region also reported an uptick in weather-related injuries, including frostbite, slips on icy sidewalks, and falls on snow-covered stairs. The storm wreaked havoc on travel infrastructure across Ontario. At Toronto Pearson International Airport, Canada's busiest air hub, hundreds of flights were delayed or canceled between January 14th and 16th as runways were buried under snow and visibility fell below safe operating standards. Airport crews worked tirelessly to de-ice aircraft and clear the tarmac, but the backlog of grounded flights caused significant disruptions to both domestic and international travel. On the ground, highways like the 401, the QEW, and the Don Valley Parkway experienced near gridlock during peak hours. Snowplows struggled to keep pace with the storm's intensity, and multiple accidents were reported due to slippery roads and low visibility. Public transportation also slowed significantly, with buses running late and streetcar services in parts of Toronto interrupted by ice on the lines. Local authorities urged residents to avoid non-essential travel and warned that commutes could take 2 to 3 times longer than usual. The effects of the snowstorm extended well beyond transportation. Many local businesses reported lower foot traffic or closures as staff and customers alike struggled to navigate the icy streets. Essential services such as grocery stores and pharmacies remained open, but faced supply delays due to delivery trucks being unable to pass through congested or blocked routes. In response to the deteriorating conditions, the City of Toronto declared a major snowstorm condition, a rare classification that activates emergency snow removal operations and restricts on-street parking to allow plows full access to residential roads. Hundreds of snow-clearing vehicles were deployed across the city in coordinated waves, focusing first on priority routes before gradually moving into residential neighborhoods. At the same time, Toronto's emergency services were on high alert, responding to weather-related emergencies ranging from vehicle collisions to power outages and vulnerable citizens in need of shelter from the cold. For many families, the storm has brought back familiar winter routines, clearing driveways, salting walkways, and checking in on neighbors. Communities across Toronto came together to help the elderly and those with mobility challenges, digging out buried mailboxes and checking on isolated homes. Children played in the snowbanks, turning school closures and delayed buses into unexpected snow days, while adults faced the more serious challenge of staying warm, fed, and safe. Local shelters extended their hours and capacity to accommodate people experiencing homelessness, and warming centers opened in libraries and community centers throughout the city. Despite the hardships, a sense of resilience and mutual support was evident as people pulled together, once again facing winter as a united front. While the snowfall began to ease on January 16th, weather experts warned that the cold is here to stay, at least for the rest of the week. Meteorologists predict continued below-freezing temperatures and a chance of additional light snow into the weekend. Although no new major storms are on the immediate horizon, the deep snowpack and freezing nights could create ongoing hazards, including black ice and collapsing snow piles. Authorities are reminding residents to remain cautious, conserve energy where possible, and keep emergency supplies on hand. The situation may evolve quickly, and those living in rural areas or areas with limited infrastructure should take particular care in the coming days. The snowstorm of January 2026 has proven to be a defining weather event for this winter season. From grounded flights to snow-buried neighborhoods, from silent streets to bustling warming centers, the storm has touched every aspect of life in southern Ontario. As snow continues to fall lightly on the rooftops and the cold air settles over the city like a heavy blanket, one thing remains clear. Winter in Canada demands both preparation and heart. For the people of Toronto, this storm will not be forgotten anytime soon, and for the rest of the world watching, it serves as yet another reminder of the raw beauty and brutal force of nature in the Great White North.